Here's a fun way for me to start this video. I'm going to share with you some negative comments that I've heard about the church. And if I'll tell you the truth, these are comments that I have made just myself too in the past. So before I get to that, let me remind you though of some critical information. And some of that critical information is this. Last Sunday, we were reminded of the church is the bride of Christ, and he gave his life for her. We learned about that in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. The church, the gathering, is precious to Jesus. So with that in mind, realize that there's some negative pushback, and here is some of it. I'm not going to be a part of any organized religion. That was one of my favorite ones. I don't want anything to do with that. That was my go-to before I became a follower of Jesus. Or maybe softer said is this: I don't need to be a Christian and go to church or be a part of a church. I can be a Christian and not be a part of the gathering. I've discovered this, that statement reveals basic misunderstanding of what the church is. Not to rehash what we covered last Sunday, but I'll share with you another perspective moving past the individualistic view of following Jesus. I want you to listen to what the Apostle Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19, speaking specifically about a person that is a follower of Jesus that has the presence of God in them. He says, "Do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God?" A temple, a sacred dwelling place of God. But that's not the whole of what the Apostle Paul says. And what we call his second letter to the church in Corinth in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16, he says this: "What agreement is there between the temple of God and idols? For we are the temple of the living God. As God has said, I will live with them and walk among them, and I will be their God, and they will be my people." What we gather from these two verses is, yes, you are a follower of Jesus. You have a sacred dwelling place with his Holy Spirit in you. But don't miss the plural terms used that Paul uses in 2 Corinthians. He says, we are the temple. In them, my people. Those are all plural. Those are all collective. Those are all speaking about the gathering. This clearly indicates that God will be with and work through the gathering of his people, in addition to working through you as an individual. It is only a half-truth that you can follow Jesus apart from the mission and the body and the bride of Christ. The writer of Hebrews says it this way and reminds us of the importance of the gathering. And he says this in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 25. "Let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another all the more as you see the day approaching." The meeting, the gathering, the encouraging happens within the framework of togetherness. This is a critical part of your growth and of mine. And in these divisive and unsettling times, the togetherness of the followers of Jesus and the demonstration of love and forgiveness, it's of utmost importance. Now, when I look around, I can say to myself, this feels overwhelming. I mean, when I watch the news or I watch my social media feed, those two sources are just teeming with violence, destruction, and division. So I come back to, what can I do? What can you do as a temple of the Holy Spirit? I thought this would be helpful. Let us start in a very simple manner and take the writer of Hebrews at his word. Encourage one another. So my challenge for you, my challenge for me and for the church is this: each day for the next 7 days, be intentional about encouraging someone. Send a card to someone that you know is burdened. Call the person that you know is frightened. Stop by and visit with the person that you know is lonely. Of course, social distancing of that 6 feet with them, but be as creative as you like. But be intentional about encouraging one another. Let the Holy Spirit dwelling within you guide you as to what to do, how creative to become. For he knows those that need to be encouraged. He knows those that need you to reach out to them. And he wants to use you and me and us, the gathering, to do so. And over the course of the next 7 days, that is the challenge for you and for me. And a way for us to kind of keep each other accountable, I'm going to encourage you to do this. Is to comment below of how you went about and what you did. Not specifically, you don't have to get into details, but just how you were able to be a blessing to others, or how someone was a blessing and encouraged you. we can do this. We can make a difference in this world. We can be Jesus' love and forgiveness and healing in this difficult time, because he is good, he is right, he is true, and he wants to use you and me to bring love, hope, and forgiveness to this world.